Do you have high triglycerides? Want to know how to lower them? In this video, I'll share 9 foods to avoid and 7 foods and habits that can help reduce triglycerides. Here's something interesting. We'll cover what to avoid and what to add to your diet and routine. I love discussing triglycerides because I know these tips can really help you see results. Unlike cholesterol, where diet affects only 30%, with the rest made by the liver, triglycerides are different. With triglycerides, it's not the same. We can influence a larger portion through lifestyle changes. Often, patients come in with triglycerides at 400, then return with normal levels around 100 or 90. So it's crucial that you pay attention to all these tips. I won't sell you any supplements, medicines, or miracle cures. This video is not sponsored. It's important to note this, as you know the legal issues I'm facing with scammers faking my videos. So be warned, I don't sell any meds or supplements, nor give prescriptions. That's illegal, so be careful. If you see such videos, they're fake. Report them to my email so I can take legal action. Let's start by discussing the best and worst foods for triglycerides. But do you know what triglycerides are? Triglycerides are a type of fat that serves as energy storage. When you're fasting, can you still do activities? Can you go to work, for example? It's because of your energy reserves. And a good portion of this stock is triglycerides. When you start having excess stock, that's where the problem lies. So what's the normal range for triglycerides? Between 50 and 150 if you're fasting. If you're not fasting, the upper limit is 175. Now, it's possible to do the test without fasting. If your lab or doctor says you can test without fasting, they're right. But the reference range changes slightly. I suggest fasting for 8-12 hours, as we have more studies with values under these conditions. What's the problem with high triglycerides? Above 150, it's a risk factor for heart disease and stroke. So you need to pay close attention to these triglyceride levels. When triglycerides exceed 500 or even 1,000 in some studies, it's concerning. The ideal limit is 150. Many people have levels over 1,000. This is a risk factor for acute pancreatitis, a potentially severe pancreatic inflammation. So be cautious, not just for heart health, but also for the risk of acute pancreatitis. Now, how can we lower triglycerides? And which foods should you avoid? Let's start with the list of foods to avoid, okay? There are 9. Number 1 is whole fruit juices: grape, orange, pineapple, and mango. Why? Juicing removes fiber, concentrates sugars, which can hinder triglyceride control. It's better to eat whole fruit. You get fiber and feel fuller. So, avoid fruit juices. Some juices, like lemon or passion fruit, have a lower sugar content. These can be consumed in moderation. But the juices I mentioned earlier, better to avoid those. I'll also add sugary drinks, chocolate milk, and soda to the list. But you already knew about those, right? Many people watching their triglycerides don't know about juices, though. Did you know that? So you've got to avoid juices. This is especially for those managing their triglycerides. High triglycerides are linked to other metabolic issues like type 2 diabetes. If you're watching your health, it's best to avoid sweetened drinks. Many people misunderstand the term whole, like in whole grape juice. What does this mean? It means no water added, so it's a more concentrated juice. If you have high triglycerides, be extra careful with these drinks. Whole foods are different. That's another story. Whole drinks simply mean no added water. Number 2, avoid fats like margarine, butter, coconut oil, and lard. I'll suggest a healthier fat later, but these are best avoided. I notice many people eat bread with butter or margarine. Well, that's a problem. You're adding carbs, sugars, and fats, some high in saturated fat. Most of their composition is saturated fats. If you have to choose between butter and margarine, go for margarine. I'm not saying it's healthy or that you should eat it, but it has less saturated fat. I know this topic is controversial. There's lots of hype about butter, lard, and coconut oil being healthy. But avoid these fats if you're watching your triglycerides and cholesterol. Number 3, surprisingly, is starchy vegetables. The same applies to what I said about whole grape juice. I'm not saying they're unhealthy, but if you're managing triglycerides, be careful with corn, peas, and potatoes. These veggies can raise your triglycerides more. Why? The body stores excess carbs as energy. You've seen what triglycerides are. Eating lots of corn will raise triglycerides. Avoid starchy veggies if watching triglycerides. I love corn, but my triglycerides are fine. This advice is for those with high triglycerides, not saying these foods are unhealthy, okay? Number 4. Avoid refined sugar. Adding sugar to your diet harms triglycerides. Putting sugar in coffee turns a healthy drink that can reduce diabetes risk by 33% into something harmful. That's pretty significant. Coffee can also improve fatty liver inflammation, even lowering inflammatory markers. I'm not saying it's a cure, mind you, but it can help. But if you add sugar, you might harm your health if you have issues with sugar or refined carb metabolism. It's worth cutting out refined sugar, sugary cakes, or coffee sugar, as I mentioned. Got it? You need to stop this habit as it greatly increases triglycerides. Number 5. Avoid wheat flour like pasta, pizza, cakes, and bread. For those watching triglycerides or diabetics, this causes carb overload, turning into triglycerides. All excess will be converted to triglycerides. Understood? So it's best to avoid it. Number 6. Fish in oil. There's a big push for eating fish. You knew that, right? But choose natural fish instead. It's usually the same price, right next to each other on the shelf. You don't need extra fat. Fish already has good fats and protein, okay? I know many people are used to eating fish in oil. Natural fish is better. You get all the good nutrients without extra calories, which is important for managing triglycerides. Number 7, processed meats. Avoid processed meats like salami, ham, and turkey breast. Many think they're healthy, but they're high in nitrates and nitrites, which can increase bowel cancer risk. So, some people, even doctors, say it won't increase colon cancer risk, but studies show eating processed meats 3 or more times a week is a risk factor. It's easy to do if you like sausages or other processed meats. Now, eating it once a week, like at a party or meeting, hasn't shown to be harmful, okay? So, eating it 3 or more times a week is a risk factor, even for colon cancer. It's best to avoid it completely. Agreed? I'll also add chicken skin to this list. Do you like eating chicken with the skin on? Well, that skin is packed with saturated fats. You should avoid it if you care about your health. Chicken is known to be healthy. It's a lean protein. But you need to avoid the fatty part, which is the skin. Got it? Number 8. Avoid alcohol. Did you know alcohol can raise triglycerides? Not just for its metabolic effects, but it's also high in calories. Each gram of alcohol has about 7 kilocalories. 1 gram of sugar has about 4 kilocalories. So alcohol has almost double the calories of sugar. You should completely avoid alcohol. It's one of the measures, especially for beer drinkers, that makes a big difference when they quit. One of these differences is a reduction in triglycerides. Number 9, which surprises many, is avoiding high glycemic fruits like bananas, mangoes, and grapes. They're not forbidden, but those watching triglycerides need to be extra careful. I'll mention other fruits in the best habits section. I'm not bashing fruits, okay? Let's not take it that way. I'll discuss better options later, but be cautious with these sugar-rich fruits if watching triglycerides. If eating a banana, just have half. Deal? Let's look at the best foods and habits. If you're enjoying this video, please subscribe if you haven't already. So, subscribe and turn on notifications. That way, YouTube will notify you when I post. Also, don't forget to like the video. Let's aim for 7,000 likes. I haven't been hitting the goal in recent videos. You often ask about the goal, so today it's 7,000 likes. So, what are these 7 foods and habits? The first, which can greatly reduce triglycerides, is exercise. It can be running, walking, gym, or swimming. Why? You've seen it's about energy storage. When you have excess storage, triglycerides increase. One way to address this is by using up that stored energy. Physical exercise and activity are great ways to lower triglycerides. Number 2, I mentioned I'd talk about a good fat. It's worth using olive oil, which has unsaturated fats that can boost good cholesterol and help with triglycerides. If you're not using lard or coconut oil, olive oil is a good option. What's the right amount of olive oil to use? For heart benefits without excess calories, about 7 mmol is a good dose. People often ask if you can heat olive oil, like for sautéing veggies. The answer is yes. Olive oil won't lose its benefits on your home stove. You can't reach its smoke point at home. So there's no need to worry. You can definitely heat it. Your stove can't make olive oil toxic. There's no need to be afraid. If you like sautéing veggies, you can use it. It's also great for salads, if you prefer. I love adding it to my salads. What about you? What fats do you use? Were you aware of this info? Share your thoughts in the comments. Mention your region too. What's most common where you're from? What fats are popular in your area? Here, sadly, lard is used a lot. I'm speaking about Porto Alegre. Number 3, low glycemic fruits like guava, plum, and apples with skin for fiber. There's a saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Apples are indeed very healthy. They have pectin, aiding in satiety. Red fruits like cherries and strawberries are good too. Lemon and passion fruit as well. It's worth adding fruits to your diet, plus all the nutrients and vitamins. I promised to list the best fruits, so here it is. Oranges with pulp, peaches, avocados, and many more. You can pick your favorites. I'm a big fan of raspberries. How about you? I'm in a raspberry phase right now. Whenever I'm at the store, I always look for raspberries. I really love them. My son asked for them too. Giovanni's been requesting raspberries. Can you believe it? Number 4, add fiber like chia, flax, and pumpkin seeds. Why? It improves absorption, digestion, and lowers the glycemic index of your meals. If you're having fruit or yogurt, add some chia or flax. It'll help. They're good fats and make you feel fuller, so you'll eat less. Chia and flax consumption is really beneficial. I love eating chia. How about you? Many people will ask about oats. Oats are healthy, but for triglycerides, you should avoid them, okay? So, prefer chia and flax over oats. Oats are mostly carbohydrates. In fact, 65% of oats composition is carbs. If you're watching carbs and sugars, it's best to avoid oats. But I heard oats are good for cholesterol, you might say. True, but here, I'm specifically talking about triglycerides. I'm not bashing oats, just offering a healthier option for high triglycerides. Number 5 is to cut out refined sugar. Remove it completely from your diet. It's one of the most impactful measures for high triglycerides, like the coffee example I mentioned earlier, but also foods with added sugar. If you add sugar to juices like lemon or passion fruit, know it's harmful. So avoid this type of sugar. Many will ask about sweetness. Can it be a natural sweetener? Yes. Stevia, for instance. It's better to use sweetener than sugar. No studies prove these sweeteners are harmful, okay? Natural sweeteners. So feel free to use them if you like. Number 6 for high triglycerides. Check for other diseases. I'll highlight one specific issue, thyroid problems. Did you know hypothyroidism can raise triglycerides? Sometimes levels spike without diet changes. Pay attention to thyroid issues. They can raise triglycerides. Proper thyroid treatment can resolve this. Sometimes you're doing everything right, following all these tips, but a thyroid change can still increase your triglycerides. The opposite can also happen. Many ask, but I have low triglycerides under 50. Check thyroid function too, as hyperthyroidism can lower triglycerides. Here's an interesting tip. Evaluate other metabolic diseases, especially thyroid issues. Tip 7 works well. A study found 5% weight loss improved triglyceride levels. Isn't that interesting? So weight control is key. It's a metabolic issue we've discussed. On a scale of 0 to 10, how would you rate this video? If it's a 10, I'll make more like it. Now I have a video suggestion for you. It's about cancer signs and symptoms. Did you know many cancers have specific signs and symptoms? Recognizing them increases your chance of cure. You're more likely to catch the disease early, so you should know these signs and symptoms. Click here to watch that video. Take care. See you next time.